Oh, check out my new t-shirt, by the way.
What's that T-shirt you got there then, Darren?
Bruce Lee.
Ah, that's quite nice. With
Oh, I see.
what looks almost like the Vestron
Doesn't it just?
logo, except it's the wrong color.
Yeah, it's a bit of Estron, a bit of what was the Roger Corman one? New World Pictures.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What actually is it? Is it from something in particular, or
Well, that looks like it's from what do you call it? Just says Bruce Lee. That looks like it's from Enter the Game of Death, doesn't it?
right? But it's not a tie-in like any of the
No,
clone stuff that came out recently, or
no. Well, I think this is one of Tariq's designs. I think.
okay.
Yeah. So shout out to Tariq, and
Yes.
apologies if I've got it wrong and this is not your design, but I thought it was.
Right. Yes. So this is YCHYFUS bringing you your monthly dose of all sorts of horrible things, and you should go to the doctor.
And today is no fucking exception, is it?
No. We've got one. Well, we've got one legit film that fits,
Yeah.
and then another one that doesn't really. But
No.
I'm kind of. It's the kind of film that I'm glad I have someone to talk to about after seeing it, rather than just having watched it for no reason.
Well, the second one's a film that I've already watched before we did this as
All
well.
right.
So
I do apologize.
yeah, that's all right. Well, but we have now done the complete works of Yi Lung.
Well,
So
yeah, that was the idea, wasn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Pretty much. So, but before all that, we have a special report. Yes. So, as some of you, there's me assuming we have people watching. As some of you may be aware, a certain Mr. Hwang Jang-Lee was recently here in the Japanese capital doing a bit of a 2-day event, and I went along and I attended, and I have a few stories to tell about it. Unfortunately, I don't really have what I want. So, as part of the package, you were allowed to film Hwang Jang-Lee on your phone, giving you a special message, a specially tailored message just for you, was the idea. But he's an 81-year-old man, and even though he's in pretty good nick, yeah, I didn't quite, I didn't get my dream of directing Hwang Jang-Lee to do exactly what I wanted to do. So unfortunately, we don't have a special Hwang Jang-Lee ident, which I wanted.
that's a shame. That's a shame, but I'm sure you tried your best. Yeah.
I did, and actually, I wonder if you know this guy. I met a guy. You may know him from around here on Facebook, or you might know him otherwise from a guy called Ting Wai Ho. Do you know this fella?
No.
So he was there, part of Toby Russell's entourage, and he's a Hong Konger who happens to have grown up in Porthcawl.
No, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I had no idea. It just happened talking to him, and then it came out. And so he was sat right next to me, so you can confirm this was true. I did try to get what I wanted him to do was I tried to make this simple as possible, right? Like real, not complicated. I wanted him to just go, "This is Hwang Jang-Lee. Watch this, or you die." I thought that would be good.
Yeah.
But no, he he was like, "What? Die?" And then he goes, "No, no, die." So so then he just mumbled something about, "This is Hwang Jang-Lee. I'm doing fine," or something like that. It was fairly incomprehensible, but that's fine. I wasn't really. That was just going to be the gravy on the cake if I got it.
Yeah.
But yes, so anyway, he was here. Hang on, I'll show you my. There we go.
Ah, no, there we are. Cool. What did he actually autograph?
Well, I just bought like these special autograph cards, so you can get them framed,
Okay.
like that. But
Oh,
most
okay,
people
cool.
had merch. Most people had, you know, video sleeves or magazines or. And it was quite interesting from the event in general. I think I learned. It was quite interesting for me because I think I learned more about Japanese kung fu fans than I did about Hwang Jang-Lee, but it was quite interesting. So it was 2-day event. First day was at this place called the Totokan, which I'd never been to before, and it's a shop that specializes in wrestling memorabilia, basically, near Sugamo Station. And this place is pretty wild. Like I said, I'd never been there before, but it seems as if you're into wrestling in any way, shape, or form, this is like the mecca of wrestling. I mean, this place had. I mean, I know nothing of wrestling other than Big Daddy and Giant Haystack, and I bet they probably had some fucking Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks VHS there if you asked them.
Well, see, what you could have done. What you could have done is you could have taken a Big Daddy video sleeve and got him to sign it.
That's right, because I have a huge stack of Big Daddy VHSs.
Well, no, but you were in the location where they're sold.
Well, I assume so, yeah. But what I mean is not knowing anything, just going by gut instinct. It seemed to me that this place just had anything you could possibly want. Like they even had loads and loads and loads and loads of like masks, like Mexican masks, wrestler masks.
Cool.
I think some of them were the genuine article as well. Yeah, it's quite interesting that, you know, when you come, we'll pop in just to have it, because you're not a big wrestling guy either, but it's just fascinating to see just this condensed like fandom. And
yeah, well, fandoms are interesting regardless of whether you're into them or not. Yeah.
And I think for both of us, wrestling's kind of like that borderline one, isn't it, where it could potentially be, and we like our masked Mexican films. And so yeah, no, definitely a news. And prior I never would have known about it, but now it's somewhere I can take you when you come. So
yeah. No, we'll have a look at that for sure. Yeah.
So I turned up, and slightly miffed to begin with, just because the event started at 2:00 and they said doors open 1:40. So I thought, oh fine. I got there about 1:30, and I thought there'd be maybe a queue outside. And I only thought I'm pretty sure they said there was only going to be about spaces for about 30 or 40 people or something like that. Turn up, not only is there not the queue outside, everyone's in the shop already, and there's like 70 plus people, and they've already had their, so it was a first come first served kind of things with your seating.
Oh right, yeah.
Oh yeah, so I'm way back, can't really see Hwang Jang in this little shop, but yeah, we all get our seating, and we go up, and the event kicks off, and it's moderated by Toby Russell's there, of course. There's forgive me, I forget his name. There's a like a Japanese guy who's like a local kung fu film expert. I didn't know him, but he's written books and stuff, and I talked to him a little bit. He can speak English very, very well. So it was like between the two of them, and then Hwang Jang-Lee had a translator. I think he was Korean, who was translated. So Hwang Jang-Lee mostly spoke Korean, and but he could speak English as well if you want to talk to him in English. But it was mostly in Korean, and mostly, I think I was pretty much the only non-Japanese fan there.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but it was yes, and then the second, so there was that, and then we got our sign and everything, and then the second day was a lunch. We had a lunch in a Chinese restaurant in this fancy hotel with Hwang Jang and Toby and some other people, Hwang Jang Mrs. in the center table, and there were 5, 6 tables around, and then we had a meal while you could go up one by one and get things signed and have a little chat. And
Okay.
yeah,
That's cool.
and
Yeah.
meanwhile, Toby would be going round with this Japanese fella to each table and talking to everyone. And
That's good.
yeah, well, it's interesting. I realized that Toby is basically like the Duracell rabbit, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
as long as you're talking food,
Yeah.
like
Unlimited
all
energy.
day. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Just table to table, table to table, answering everyone's questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good time. It just
Yeah.
just seemed to be just purely just enjoying chatting.
That's really cool. Yeah. And also, you know, although he is a good host in his own way, you don't usually associate Toby with hosting, if you know.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But no,
Yeah.
very, very gracious, and he knew a lot of the people as well. He'd obviously met them before at some sort of event or other.
Mm.
There was also a couple of people from Taiwan doing a documentary about him.
Cool.
Yeah, so they were like they were there covering this, and I was talking to them a little bit as well. It was quite interesting, talking to them about you know, film preservation, or rather the lack of in Taiwan, and yeah, had some quite interesting conversations about angry conversations about how stuff had been lost.
Did you ask them if any of them had seen the Robert Thai film with the maggot sofas?
I did bring it up, yes, and they just looked at me like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Well, refer to Toby.
Yeah, well, this is the thing is, we only know of this because of Toby, right? So, yeah, no, that was quite interesting as well. Was I realized as well that because we've spoken to Toby before as well, it is kind of like having a direct line, and you do realize, yeah, how much how much wisdom we've acquired over the years that yeah, you don't quite realize until you talk to other people and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, where did you hear? I know, well, Toby, like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's good. Yeah, that's nice to hear.
Well, it was yeah, it was a very, very, very pleasant event overall, I would say. Very, very kind of low key, and oh yeah, and then after the dinner we went on the location tour to the temple Zozoji, where parts of Tower of Death were filmed with the Tokyo Tower in the background.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
and fair play. Hwang Jang was out there in 30+ degree heat with his outfit on and his hat, and yeah, he was. I mean, he is an 81-year-old man after all. Doesn't matter who you are. I mean,
oh yeah,
81 is
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! That sounds really good. It makes you think as well, doesn't it? I mean, are there any other regular events? Obviously not with celebrities, that you're missing out on.
No, well, that's the thing. That's the other thing. So I was saying, in a way, so that it was quite interesting with the meeting, the question and answer session. There was questions back and forth, and it was all very nice, and but I can't say that anyone brought up anything like that I'd never ever heard before or anything like that. But what I did kind of learn about, especially on the second day, sat at the table with some other Japanese people and talking to them, and while we were waiting, and just enjoy. I learned quite a lot about. So, for instance, on my table there were a couple of women, there were a couple of guys, and they were obviously big fans of Hwang Jang-Lee and big Kung Fu fans in general. And one of the women who did Wing Chun, actually, she was a Wing Chun proponent, and she had one of Toby's, those Art of Vengeance poster books.
Oh yeah.
Which are kind of, you don't just happen to come across one of them. They're quite hard to find.
No, you've got to search them. Yeah, I've got one of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I got one. I haven't got both. She had both of them. But
yeah, I haven't got. Yeah.
So she had one of those, and it was all like it had like marks on it and stuff, like things she'd marked, and so we were just chatting and stuff. And what I realized was, so I'd always taken it for so when I was hunting around for VHS when I first arrived here, I wasn't necessarily looking for domestic Kung Fu releases because usually they'd either be in Mandarin or Cantonese anyway, and so a lot of the stuff I was collecting here at the time wasn't that stuff, right? Because the domestic releases weren't much use to me because I couldn't understand what was going on. But I'd see them about, I'd see obviously all the Jackie Sammo Yumpyo stuff and all the Hopping Vampire stuff, obviously. And then I remember seeing 18 Bronze Men, and so I always assumed that everything was released, right? Just as it was in English, right? But it's quite interesting. It actually seems to be quite limited what was released here. So there's this kind of hardcore woman with Toby's book he was doing Wing Chun and is lining up to see Hwang Jang-Lee and all this, and she'd never seen Secret Rivals.
Ooh.
Which was kind of interesting to me because I was thinking, from our perspective, if you're getting into, there's, like we've talked about this, there's certain strata, right?
Yeah, that's in kind of strata 2, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't take long before people start telling you, you got to see Secret Rivals, right?
Yeah.
I was quite interested. She'd never seen, and plus as well, she didn't know what I was talking about. We had to kind of find the poster, so she didn't know the title.
All right.
So I realized, that's interesting. So they have a totally different kind of framework for the fandom.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I didn't realize, I was talking to this other chick next to me, and the other thing that hadn't occurred to me as well was, a lot of these films, when they have seen them, so she had seen Secret Rivals, she'd only ever seen it in an English dub, or like in a language she didn't understand that wasn't Japanese, because it's just never been released. And then I was asking, like, well, is there like we have in English, there's a fan subbing kind of subculture, right?
Yeah.
Anyone out there, and not apparently not. That just doesn't exist in people aren't making fan subs for things, and so it was just interesting to see things from that perspective. So I just assumed that they had access to all this stuff and subtitles and everything.
Sounds like a thoroughly productive outing, Clydach.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. And I'm glad I went along. And of course, I got to hang out with Toby somewhat, and that was nice. Good to have a chinwag with him. And my friend, new friend Sato Ryo was there as well, a collector who's got quite the impressive. He's carrying around like a binder with his rares, And
cool.
Even Toby was quite impressed. He had one sheet for, I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Ninja Final Duel or something like that. And Toby was on it. He was like, "Fuck, that's rare. Where'd you get that?" Like,
yeah.
And he got some stuff signed, and no, it was a nice, because I don't really do these things in general. I'm not really a big autograph guy or anything like that.
No.
It was just a kind of special event, and sadly, the other thing I found out, quite a rare event. Like, these things just don't happen here, like, at all, But no, it was very, very, it was very, very nice, pleasant event, and it was cool to see Hwang Jang-Lee just kind of more than bearing up under the blistering heat and seem to have a pretty good time as well.
Yeah, cool. That's brilliant. Yeah. So, well, you never know. It may happen again if it was successful, if it's considered a success.
Right, yeah. Because he was in, I think I was talking to some people, he did do the UK in 2014, I think.
Yeah, I think he's done it more recent. I think he's been in the UK more recently than that.
All right.
I heard about some it was just a martial arts thing as opposed to a film thing.
Right.
But I heard that he was going to be at something in Oxford over the last couple of years.
All right.
So, yeah, so he was there, but for some reason I couldn't. I lost track of it, or I couldn't get there. I can't remember, but
Right.
yeah, he's been here since 2014.
Yeah. No, but if something happens, go because I think you tend to be a little bit like not cynical exactly, but just I don't know, just maybe well, it'll
Yeah,
happen kind of, yeah. But there's I've never been to such a thing like that before, and there's something about it which is quite special. So yeah.
hmm, hmm.
Mm.
That's good. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll have more roving reports as the events come up.
Yes, yes. Well, yeah, you are more likely to come across them than me, it seems. But you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, oddly enough, actually, apparently on the second day, after everyone had buggered off, myself included, but later on at a hotel somewhere, Hwang Jang-Lee did have a little meet up with Karata.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I saw a couple
Oh,
of photos of that. So that's
oh,
the
brilliant.
because Karata's got Call Me Dragon is just come out like oh well, actually it's about a week ago now. I don't know if it's still running, but they found like a remaster of Call Me Dragon, which hasn't been seen here, like I think since the 70s or something.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
he was doing some talks
Yeah.
and events and things for that.
Yeah, I think I seem to remember seeing Call Me Dragon somewhere on one of these boutique labels. I think it might just the same thing might just have come out somewhere on a
It could
boutique
be.
label.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get along to they have been showing it in Shijuku, but I haven't had a chance. I don't know if it's still there for the next week. I might see if I can pop along. I have no idea. I think it might be in, I'm not sure which language it's in, but
No, no.
I'm sure I'll be able to follow it. Because I've never
Yeah.
actually seen Call Me Dragon, so
No, I haven't seen it. No.
but apparently it's got quite the exhausting end fight, right, from what I understand.
Nice and bashy.
Yes.
Yes.
And that brings us nicely.
There you go. Good segue, Clive Bach.
Yes. Oddly enough, I did have a nice little nice little combos with Toby there. Was yeah, it was quite funny to see him also. We had a little conversation which both ended with us going, yeah, you can't beat a good basher. Like, yeah, he's clearly on the same page.
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
so we need to set this up first of all. So
Right.
this is something that we've springboard. You
Yes,
have springboarded
this is my mea culpa. Yeah,
it is.
So we did as requested actually by the man who's fed up of us making references to the Big Breakfast and Captain America.
That's it.
Gambling for Head. Fimba Saunders is Gambling for Head. And yes, and which we both quite enjoyed, right? And
yeah.
And there was a person in there, one Yi Lung, and he was the brother character, right? The degenerate gambling brother, and we both thought, oh, he's quite good, he is.
Yeah.
And then just looking around by chance, and I think there's a couple of other credits. But basically,
yeah, he's acted in a couple of things, isn't he? But
yeah, but basically, he starred in one thing, which is our first film, The Man on the Police Gazette, which is a fantastically nothing to do with the film at all title.
No. Yeah, there's a few things that are questionable around.
Yes, I mean, I get it. I suppose if the events in question did happen, he probably would end up on the cover of the Police Gazette. But
well, yes.
But there's no kind of. I thought there might be one of those spinning newspaper intros or something like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, see, because I don't know where I got this idea because reviews are hard to come by, and plot synopses are hard to come by on this.
Yes.
So I had it in my head before we watched Man on the Police Gazette. I had it in my head that this was a modern day action basher.
All right. Well, that
or, a contemporary 70s basher.
Yeah. To be honest, the period setting is also a bit questionable, right? They're not.
Well,
not quite
it's
sure
obviously in cowboy times, isn't it? So, you know,
cowboy times and sail ships.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then, so the other thing, it turns out that Yilong had I mean, it seems a very short-lived production company, and also gave us the film The Gate of the Hell.
Well, is it any fucking wonder that it folded after this film?
Yeah, although
The
I
Gate
have
of
to
the
admit, I
Hell?
don't know, there's something slightly wrong with me, but I have a slight soft spot for The Gate of the
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, I won't say I won't watch it again, because I've watched it twice now.
Hell.
But yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it.
You
Yeah,
mentalist. Right.
yeah.
So yeah, we kick off with Man and the Police Gazette, and yeah, very much a basher. This is from 73, aka The Unconquered Man, apparently. I've seen some places say 72, but it can't be.
No, it's got to be 73.
Because there's the Enter the Dragon soundtrack is on it, right?
Well, yeah, and there's an Enter the Dragon. Well, I'm not going to say reference. That's too generous.
Right.
They rip off a kill from Enter the Dragon, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's lots of Lalo Schifrin on the soundtrack, as is briefly the Peter Gunn theme as well. Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, dun, dun. So, as far as I can tell, there's some Japanese villains, right? And they're busted out of prison. Now, where they're busted out of prison exactly?
They've busted out from the Wild West, Clive.
Well, it seems, we have to assume, because immediately after they break out from prison, they're on a ship, a sail ship going somewhere. That's what happens during the opening credits.
Yeah.
And Bobby Cannavaro turns up kind of every now and again on their trail. And yes, he seems to be an American Wild West sheriff.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well, except he's not really. He's not really, because he's a bad guy, really, isn't he? So he's not really a sheriff.
Yeah, we should probably preface this as well by saying that we watched a version on YouTube, and we're not complaining, because thank you for putting up the version on YouTube, Wu-Tang Collection, but it is a horrible transfer from what appears to be a Thai VHS, maybe?
Yeah, Thai or Malaysian, maybe, yeah.
Well, I think it's a Thai, the dub is Thai, isn't it, I think?
Oh, is it? Oh, I
think
couldn't
so.
copy it. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And the subtitles are quite difficult to read. And anytime anything happens at night, you're fucked. I had no idea what's happening.
And there's a big long section in the middle that's all at night.
Yeah. With quite a few reveals and things, and you know, it's almost like they're taking the piss, right? Because you're looking at a black screen and there's subtitles saying things like, "I never would have guessed."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Changes things.
Oh, you? Yeah.
Yeah. Plus,
yeah,
as
so
well,
Jane,
I don't think it makes. You know, I think it's a film that probably has narrative problems baked in anyway, right? So, but I mean, I think I follow it. In a nutshell, it's basically Japanese villains. The main one who has a big fight against our hero, who is Yilong, is Hwang Jang-Lee, who I think is a Korean. He's the big dude with the kind of semi.
AKA budget Kwan Young Moon.
Yes, well put. Yeah,
slightly chubbier.
Yeah,
budget Kwan Young Moon.
Yeah, he's quite a good villain. He takes up a lot of screen space.
He's all right. Yeah. He's not that big, but he's like, you know, he's slightly rounded edges.
Yeah.
And his Barnett's the same as Kwan Young Moon's in
right.
Five Fingers of Death.
So they come to this town, and either they team up with or they form the Black Bear Society, which sounds nice. It sounds like some conservationist group or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they help return all those picnic baskets that Yogi and Boo Boo have stolen.
Yogi, yeah. Because Yogi does take a lot. He does create something of an aftermath.
Yes.
Does Yogi?
Yeah.
But
they return the picnic baskets to Ranger. What's his name? Ranger Smith.
I want to say Dibble, but I think that was Top Cat, wasn't it?
That's Top Cat, Officer Dibble.
Yeah.
But anyway, and that smooths things over, and it makes Ranger Smith or whatever his name is less likely to go out there with a shotgun, and so they do good work. But no, that's not what this Black Bear Society does.
No.
Instead, they just take over local. It seems very small fry, wherever the small town they're in. I can't imagine they're raking in the cash from.
No, because they haven't done the running the casino thing yet, or the brothel thing. So there's no brothel and there's no casino, which you would expect them to be shaken down in this.
Yeah. It's like they turned up in like Myddfai or something and shook down the local newsagent or something like that.
And they've taken over the Rotary Club.
Yeah.
Right, and now they're in charge of the charity events.
They're taking all the profits from the bingo.
That's it,
yeah. So anyway, they're causing trouble. Shirley Wong and her brother, they kill Shirley Wong, but Lee Lung's the stranger in town, eventually snuffs them out. There's a brief bit where while on the run and injured, he learns how to throw like sharpened bamboo sticks from like 100.
Yeah, and I was looking forward to the payoff on that.
Yeah, it doesn't really, does it? No, they almost forget about it. And to be fair, the final fight between Facsimile, Hwang Jang-Lee and Ilung is actually it's cute, accumulates up to a nice bit of basher nastiness.
It's good
strangling,
exhausting basher nastiness.
Yeah. It's what you want from a basher. It's what you want.
Yeah, for sure.
I would imagine if this was tidied up and looked halfway decent, this would play as quite a fun little basher, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's ticking all the basher boxes.
Yeah.
There's a bit of weirdness in there with Mr. Cowboy.
Well, I was going to say, so it does pay off a little bit because after the final fight, Bobby Cannavaro turns up and has a showdown, and he throws a bamboo, and then there's an extra coda. Who's the bloke he chases up the hill and then chucks him off?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? So this is the thing, is this film's got a problem in that they put too many fucking characters in it.
Right.
So you've got like the Kung Fu School, the good guys. There's at least three main ones of them, plus Shirley Wong.
Yeah.
And because the print's bad, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to distinguish between them. There's quite a nice kill actually. They kind of because they like Budget Kwan Young Moon defeats someone and they end up on a sick bed through most of the film, don't they?
Yes.
And then they come and slaughter him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Shirley Wong.
And then Ilung is eventually the kind of avenging protagonist, isn't he?
Yeah. This film's producer, so it's directed and written by one Lo Ho, who I don't think made anything.
No.
So the producer Anna Ho is in it as well. She's the apothecary woman, isn't she? Who again you'd think is set up to do more, but doesn't.
Yeah. But also topless fight. There's a topless fight near the beginning of this.
Correct. That's good.
Yes. Let us remember this.
Notable.
Don't see a lot of topless fights.
No. It's always something worth making note of. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. Like if this turned up in a easy to watch. I think this would. I think that. I mean, it's still for basher completists only, maybe, but it's I've seen. I mean, I haven't seen much worse quality, but that aside, I haven't seen much worse filmmaking quality. Like it's a solid
No,
little basher, I think.
yeah, no, it's a good solid basher. The choreography is very decent for 73, 72,
Hmm.
73. You know, it's there's a little bit of spice in there with the topless fight and, you know, Bobby the cowboy
Yes.
kicking about.
Not to mention the spiciest of spices. YCHYFUS turns up in it as making this YCHYFUS double bill as well, because
Yeah.
he's got a lot more to do in our second film, though.
Yes. Yes. Fucking hell. Anyway. But yeah, so but no, but I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ticks all the basher boxes for me.
Yeah.
Recommended if you can handle the print, basically, I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
God knows if we're ever gonna get anything better, but at least it exists, I suppose. I mean,
Yeah.
some
And I think yeah, and it's nice to do an outlier, because I would imagine, unless I'm completely ignorant of this film, but I imagine that those of us that are into Foo, this would never have come across our radar.
No, I
We'd
never.
never have got to this.
No.
And it's worth a watch. You know, it's a basher that you haven't seen before.
Exactly. So, you know,
And it's not a bad basher.
there is a strange method to my badness, and I think it was worth it. The weird route. I think it was worth it to get to talk about the man on
Definitely worth seeing this one.
Yeah.
The next one?
Gat Ifern.
Right, now there's no need to confuse people even further by doing this fucking review in Welsh.
Na, ni'n mynd i wneud un hyn yn oh, bloody hell, my Welsh is awful.
Right, sign tally £1.50.
£2.50.
I gweld tynnu llun o dyn yn neud Dracula.
Dyn gwyn yn neud Dracula. Don't worry, English will return. Yes, The Gate of the Hell.
Which is not a kung fu film.
Hang on. Is there any way I can? No.
There's
even a kick is thrown. I don't think, is there?
No, there's a little bit of jostling.
There we go.
Yeah.
But you know, we can do whatever the fuck we want, basically.
Yeah.
And compared to the way that we stretch the fabric of the Inshore Scope podcast, then this is...
Well, yes. Now, we're allowed to stretch not in Inshore Scope. I'm not sure that this is a bridge too far for the YCHYFUS. But we've done it now.
Yes, exactly. I bet Nick would have enjoyed this, actually.
Yeah, I think Nick would have had a bit of fun with this, yeah.
Yeah. So this is from 1977, although apparently didn't see release anywhere until 1981. And so we actually have a English dub of this one.
Yeah. Well, subbed and dubbed.
Yeah, floating around on... I don't know what the origin of it, because they've scrubbed the subtitles and then put them on again, like tidied up, but it's in English anyway. So
yeah.
Who knows what process this has gone through before it's arrived.
Yeah.
But it's unusual, I think, of non kung fu films of this era to get an English dub. Actually, you very rarely see
for sure, yeah,
of a horror film, Hong Kong or Taiwanese horror.
Yeah, and I think that if such resources existed, it would be interesting to find out who bought this in the US, for example, and how they marketed it, because it would have been marketed in the horror genre, which is what it is.
I doubt it got... my feeling is whatever market it was prepped for, I don't think it actually got a release. I very much doubt this saw the inside of a screen in the United States, unless it was like just in Chinatown or somewhere or something like that. I think this was for widespread release, but didn't get it. I think
No, because it's a very Western style film.
Yeah, if it played anywhere, it would have played somewhere, like drive-in in South Africa or something like that. Or
Yeah.
But anyway, this is directed by one Lobo Lun, who also did one more horror film called The Accident, right? In 1992. And it is from bringing it all, so at least there's an excuse. Yilung's production company.
There's not much of an excuse.
No. But so
it's a gossamer excuse, is what this is.
Yes. Yeah. It's my speciality.
It is, yes.
So we open with actually quite a nice little opening scene that pretty much has fuck all else to do with the rest of the film, right? We're in like a laboratory of some kind, and a smoking skull comes to life, flies across the lab and bites a janitor.
Yeah.
Good start. I like that. Yeah.
Skeletons.
We're off to the races now.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of the best bit of the film, really, isn't it? But
well, there's a reanimation scene that I quite like.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that. That's quite fun.
Reanimation scenes are always good.
Yeah. And this one is particularly handcrafted, shall we say? Looks.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Well. Yeah.
But
anyway, so there's a bunch of medical students, including our lead, Violet Lee Ying.
Are they medical students? I didn't catch that.
I think so. I think they're supposed to be medical students.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're not carrying like test tubes with them or anything.
No. Well, because they're going camping.
Yeah, exactly. They want to put all that behind.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend, Lee Tao Hung from 8 Strikes of a Wildcat. He was in
yeah.
And their friends. And include according to the credits, Bobby Cannavaro's in this as well.
Yeah, I couldn't spot him. I didn't know where the fuck he was in this.
He's a bit of a chameleon, that Bobby Cannavaro.
Yeah. He must be one of the friends, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Because
unless he's in the hospital at the end. He's someone in the hospital at the end.
He could be there. He could be. I think he might be one of the friends. But he can be a Wild West sheriff when he wants to be. So
yeah.
He's, people talk about people like Christian Bale or whatever they got nothing on Bobby Cannavaro.
Well, Bobby Cannavaro, those 4 years between these two films obviously changed that man,
Yes. No, he's but he's in there, maybe.
Yes.
So they go off on an excursion up Devil's Hill, a forested mountain, to do a bit of camping. Hang on now. So and there's a lot of bits in this film that confuse me, but there's one bit where Violet Lee Tahung, they're jaunting along up the mountain, and they pass I don't think it's their car. They pass another car, right? And I think it's going to be a plot point or something because they stop.
Yeah.
She says to him, "Please help me get a stone."
Yeah.
And he leans down and he gets a stone off the ground in front of the car and gives it to her. What the fuck is all out of that? I was puzzling about that for days after. What's the significance of
maybe that's on the cutting room floor.
But this obviously jumped out at you as well because you remembered it too.
Yeah.
It's
there's a lot of funny weird. Yeah. And then you've got our cross-eyed woodcutter.
Yes, you're the one.
Yes. Who's in there for no good reason whatsoever, other than the fact that he was probably walking past the fucking set that day.
Well, he's a classic red herring, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's not even used that way. I
Well,
was
he turns up and he's got his side and he's got his googly eyes and he's
Yeah, I know, but if it had he just like had a bit of food because he wants a bit of bread, doesn't he? Yeah, he wants some bread, right? Because they haven't got shops around that way,
No.
right? Literally, that is exactly the well, close enough to the dialogue. Oh, I haven't got shops around here. Can I have some bread?
Thank God
And
he
he
didn't
gives you
ask
bread.
for the stone, because then they'd have had to find another one.
Oh well, see, yeah, and then he fucks off, and then he turns up again and eats all their food in the campsite
Wow.
when they're all inexplicably dancing in horror masks.
Well, this is another good bit, right? Because they all start dancing about in the campfire with these masks on. And then possibly my favorite subtitle of the entire film is a character says, "This is art for art's sake."
Oh yeah, no. There's a better line in this later on.
Okay. But that's a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. Yeah.
Next time I'm camping and dancing around with masks on, I'm gonna quote this film. And no one will know what the fuck I'm on about unless you happen to be.
Unless I'm there.
Yeah. Then I'll ask you to get me a stone.
That's it.
Then we'll be tickled pink for the rest of the day.
Oh, we will.
Because we are clearly damaged in some way, and everyone who's camping with us will just be going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and then when we both go to sleep, Clybach,
yes,
we're gonna wake up and everyone's gone.
Yes.
Just like in this film.
That's right. Because they were sick of those two fuckers bringing up obscure Hong Kong Dracula films that we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Leave them to it.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is what happens. Yes. Yeah. Well, there's a storm.
Yeah.
And then, so Vile, Liang and Li Tao Hung look around for their friends, they're not there. Oh, shit. But then they notice a big old house that they didn't see before. And they go there to take shelter. They have to remove.
You would say, just to correct the audience now, right? Who have probably not seen this film, right? You would say, or you could assume from our description that this is some sort of art house kind of dream-like logic that where there's like a dream-like feel to this film. There's not. This is just,
I don't know. It does have an atmosphere.
A little bit in the camping sequences.
I mean, what I mean is it's one of those films that's so odd. I wish I could visit it. You know, I'd like to go and look around and have a look what's going on, because it does exist in its own, let's get fancy from it, its own hermetically sealed world.
It does, sort of, yeah. But that world is also quite generic.
Yeah, I don't know that there's some. Don't get me wrong. It's very hard. I'm not gonna send anyone off to watch this film. I would not be so cruel. But there's something. I will watch this film again for some. I will watch this film again when I'm in my cups, and I will what the kids today call a total vibes film, right? It'll be something I'll just kind of enjoy.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I was going to bring this up at the end, but I'm going to bring it up now.
Right.
This actually did remind me quite strongly of a film I haven't seen in a long time, so I do need to revisit it.
Right.
And that film is Al Adamson's Dracula versus Frankenstein.
Ah, right. Yeah, no, I can kind of see that. I can see that.
So it's kind of on the cheap. It's got some high ideals, but it operates in its own separate universe aside from anything else.
No, it's a good call, because other Al Adamson films, it's that weird borderline, isn't it, where something so kind of cheap and abstract, and in lieu of like sets and stuff, you just like have just black background, but that could be a function of it just being in terrible quality. But it's that weird line, isn't it, where cheapo crosses over into like chiaroscuro abstract arty, isn't it? By accident.
Yeah, but I think you're giving the film too much credit. You're giving the filmmakers too much credit with that.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's
Because they just want to make a fucking Dracula film.
Yes, this is true.
That's what the filmmakers are doing.
Yes. However, there is that transformation sequence, which, I mean, that doesn't happen by accident, right? And there's something a bit odd about that. Like, it's not just, I don't think it's just someone trying to do something as best as they can.
You mean the reanimation sequence where he goes from skeleton into Dracula?
Yeah, because
because that's in every fucking Dracula film.
No, but the eyes don't swivel around. and there's I'll tell you, the bit where the blood drips into the socket for a while till it pools.
No, that was good. I like
that's original. It
was good. And it was like pumping, and then it was an eyeball for
then the eye swivels around, and I'm thinking, oh, and then it just turns into the. But I don't want to overstate it, but I'm just saying there's something here. I would love to hear a commentary track. I mean, we'll never get one. But if the filmmakers were to be convinced if they can remember what they were trying to do.
Well, I'm sure. What's his name? Yi Lung is still about.
Well, Yi Lung, if you're watching, let us know how the Gate of the Hell came about.
Come on the show. And we'll do a commentary track together.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
DVD extras.
That would be more than a pleasure. So anyway, they find this abandoned house. They have to take like a crucifix off it to get in, don't they? Big heavy.
Yeah, there are. In its defense, there are good large gold crucifixes in this.
Yes.
I like the crucifixes in this. It's good.
Well, that's the other thing I quite like about it as well, is because it's dealing in, like it's doing the Western iconography thing. But what I like about it, it's kind of like when Italians go to America and they make up this America that doesn't quite exist. That this is like not, they've got the iconography and stuff, but I sense they don't really understand what it all means or how it works. But it just kind of looks cool, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
quite stylish. It is something quite stylish. Again, we can't see it properly, but I think there's something quite stylish about the interior of that place with all these crucifixes, and then
the interior stuff wasn't bad, but I think if you could AI whitewash this film, right? If you could program an AI to turn all the Chinese actors into Western actors, there's no way you could tell me this film was made anywhere other than Europe or the US.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But that kind of makes it interesting, I think.
Oh, it is. I get that. However, viewing experience, fine. I had no problem watching it for the second time.
Right.
But it's not to be recommended, really, is it?
No. But I'm just trying to. Sometimes a film goes. There's just something about, like, I can't defend it, but I enjoyed pottering around in it, if you see what I mean, rather than kind of following the narrative. Like, the story was going on, and I'm like over in the corner, like looking about. You see what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But anyway, they get inside. It's never really explained, but some blood comes from somewhere. I feel as if something's missing here. They could have quite easily had him accidentally, like, cut him or something.
But it's just blood drops on the coffin from out of nowhere, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we have the transformation system, which is kind of nice. And then Bill Lake turns up. Apparently, Bill Lake.
No, not Bill Lake. No, that's Warwick Evans.
Oh yeah, sorry. Bill Lake is the guy later. Yes, Warwick Evans. How could I be?
That's Van Helsing, that is.
Yes, Warwick Evans, who apparently was a TVB newscaster, right? He did the English language news.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Yeah, on TVB for like quite a few years in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
It would have been interesting to go to a cinema and seen him. But I think before he got that gig, he's also in somewhere in Game of Death, apparently.
Yeah. I saw that credit on it. Yeah.
And
what the fuck is doing there? I don't know.
Adventure in Denmark as well, he's in.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, so Warwick Evans turns up as Dracula or a vampire. I can't remember. I think they do refer to him as Dracula.
I think he is Dracula. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's even got a Dracula, Ingrid Pitt-looking kind of bride.
Yeah, bride. Yeah.
Very briefly seen.
Yeah.
Turns out all the other friends have been turned into vampires, and eventually Li Tao Hung is turned into a vampire as well, leaving Violet Li Ying to fight for herself. Drac gets a crucifix in the chest. She wakes up in a hospital.
Yeah. And
she's interrogated by Se Ma Wa Lung, a very angry detective.
Yeah, he's very judgmental.
He is.
Detective.
He is. Yeah. And then Bill Lake turns up as our Van Helsing character.
Well, I think he's kind of he's somewhere between Father Karras and Van Helsing, isn't he?
Yeah. Basically, he's the only one who believes her.
Yeah.
And then Dracula and his minions do turn up at the hospital, I think, don't they? For one more round of Monster Mash.
There's a good bit of stick in action.
Yeah. And then,
if I remember rightly, Bill Lake just like launches himself.
Yes.
You know, the only thing, and it's not kung fu, but it's almost wire work.
We've got it.
He launches himself with a big.
There we go. It belongs in the HJL canon. We did it together.
No. Yeah, sticks in the heart, but doesn't do anything.
And she wakes up. It's all a dream.
Should we warn people about spoilers then? Shall we?
Oh yeah, spoiler. She wakes
spoilers,
up, and it's all a dream.
It's all a fucking dream.
Yes, I mean
it was all a fucking dream.
Yes, in the almost so straight up, bog standard, non-ironic. It's almost refreshing to see. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, because they're playing this fucking dead straight as well, aren't they?
Yeah. Never know what happened to the stone.
No.
I don't know if the friends were. I mean, if it were a dream, I suppose it doesn't matter.
No.
But I don't know what happened to the friends or Yuta Wan. Did he get more bread? Did he starve on the hill?
Well, he's probably picking up the old. He probably nicked the tents. He probably cleaned up on that. He probably went into town with all these tents, flogged them for, probably half a bakery's worth of bread.
Yeah, he
likes his bread, doesn't he?
He might have even brought some bread with like sausage in it, and fancy.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah, a bit of cheese bread.
I can imagine
even have a Chelsea bun.
With his googly eyes.
That's it.
Enjoying that, cutting it
in his mouth.
With his scythe. Yeah. So there we go. The gate of the hell.
Well, I'll tell you something I want to think about. Right, I want to have as a discussion point on this.
All right.
So, what's going on in terms of vampire and particularly Dracula cinema in 1976? Not a lot. Maybe Frank Langella. When was the Frank Langella one?
79.
79, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean,
what's this bouncing off is what I'm asking.
Right.
Really.
Right. No, it's a good question, because the last of the Hammers would have done and dusted a few years before. I suppose you could argue Jean Roland, maybe.
I don't see the filmmakers seeing Jean Roland before making this.
No. I'm clutching at straws when I think of anything else that would have been going on.
Yeah, not a lot, because you've got the Andy Warhol stuff or the Paul Morrissey stuff is 73, isn't it?
Yeah, because the the world went mad and everyone made vampire films all of a sudden is earlier in the decade, isn't it? It's like around 71 or something where you get like vampire films out of Japan and
Yeah.
you have
Vampire Lake and all that stuff.
like everyone's doing vampire films all of a sudden.
Mm.
Yeah, no, this is much later than. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. It is interesting to try and contemplate like what exactly, because like you said, they have gone out of their way to, it's not a hopping vampire, for example, right? And it's
exactly. Yeah,
it would have been a bit earlier for that anyway, but it's
a Western vampire film.
Yeah.
Essentially,
it's a Dean Gwynn Dracula.
It is. It is. Yes.
With there's a lot of green.
Well, it's a Dean Gwyrdd, is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which means green man,
right.
Not white man. Yeah. So yeah, I just something to think about while we're.
No. It's a fair point. It is a fair point, and I don't really have an answer. I mean,
no, I don't.
Yeah, not much, I suppose, unless there's some. I'm sure there's someone shouting at the screen, some glaring. Forget. Oh no, it's the year after this, isn't it? Zoltan, Hound of Dracula.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but it is. Yeah, you're right. Oh, hang on. Night Stalker.
That's earlier, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, that's early 70. That's 73, 74, isn't it?
Yeah. Someone would. I mean, Kim Newman would be able to tell us at the top of his head.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right though. I think it is not. It's probably not peak because all the Count Yorgas have done. Blackula's been done. All those things have been and gone. It's not. Yeah, it's a bit of a vampire drought, I want to say.
When Salem's Lot, 79 again?
Yeah. So it is that odd period. Yeah. But anyway, The Gate of the Hell. I mean, how should I phrase this? If you are familiar enough with what we do and what we do on other YouTube shows and what I do with Ron and stuff like that, and you've come to maybe not appreciate, but you've come to understand what's wrong with me.
Exactly. You've come to understand Clive's mental health history.
And if you find yourself, God forbid, slightly siding with that worldview, you may find that Gate of the Hell is worth having a look. It's there on YouTube, where it is at the moment. Grab it while you can.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it is difficult to make the case for anything other than giving it a pretty wide berth. But you watched it twice, Darren.
Well, yeah, because I think I was hungover one Sunday and I couldn't move from the sofa.
Oh, perfect.
And I decided to surf YouTube for some shite Hong Kong film. And this is what I found.
This is perfect hangover film.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it was great. It sorted me out a treat.
Incapacitated. It has you as its prisoner.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the way to experience it. In fact, I might, next time I watch this, I might make a point of getting trashed the night before and watching it early in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's how I discovered it. So, But yeah, it's surprisingly, and this is the thing that surprises me the most, for such a bad film, and this is a bad film.
It is.
Right? We're not going to get away from that.
No.
For such a bad film, I really didn't have too much of a problem watching it again.
No, I can imagine. I'm almost chomping at the bit to have another look at it. Yeah. There's something there. If there's something a bit wrong with you, like there is with me and Dad.
Yeah.
Say,
so, I'm sure there's a crossover, right? So the 3 or 4 people that watch this,
Mm.
I think at least 2 of them like horror as well.
Right.
So we're not doing. We'll find. I think we'll have accomplished our goals if, let's say, 30% of our audience end up watching The Gate of the Hell.
What's that, like 1.5 people?
1.5 people, yeah. So, and that can be one person who watched all of it, and another person who turned it off halfway through.
I tell you who it could be. It could be Kevin Van Hentendrick and Belain. That's one.
Yeah.
So there we go. The
Yeah,
Gate
we're
of
done.
the Hell.
Yeah.
And this is the end of the podcast.
Yes. And next time we're gonna watch some kung fu films.
Yes. Because Darren's in charge next time, so we'll
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Stay tuned.
The goodbye.
The goodbye of the goodbye.